you'd made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Hey there, Meergo here, and welcome to the 4th video in my Meergospective series for the Fallout franchise. If you haven't seen the previous videos in this series, I highly recommend you check them out first. This video is for Fallout New Vegas. A lot of people will assert that New Vegas is the greatest game ever. This is usually followed with how Fallout 4 is garbage. Fallout 4 is not garbage, but that's for next time. I put off playing New Vegas until this year, and I now know why everyone made such a big deal about it. This much is clear. The hype is real, and New Vegas blew my socks off. In my humble opinion, it's the best Fallout game ever released. Created by many of the original developers of Fallout 1 and 2, New Vegas continues the story set up by both of the classic Fallouts on the West Coast. This time, the Bear Bros from Fallout 2 are vying for control over the Mojave Wasteland in post-apocalyptic Nevada. The NCR's primary rivals are Caesar's Legion, a ruthless totalitarian organization modeled after ancient Rome's legions. New Vegas improves upon every part of Fallout 3. Gameplay is better, quests are better, the environments are better, and factions are better. The result is spectacular, and this could be called Fallout 3, but good. It's at this point I should mention that the game was released in 2010 with many bugs, including game-breaking ones. Obsidian was given a very short amount of time to develop the game in an engine they were unfamiliar with. Since I didn't want to play a buggy mess, this review is of a modded Vanilla Plus version of the game using the popular Viva New Vegas.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
Gameplay remains unchanged from Fallout 3, just way better. Primarily, the first-person shootiness was refined from barely serviceable to downright pleasant. There's still no quick melee grenade button or sprinting, but overall gunplay is much tighter and now includes aiming down sights. I can't overstate how much better it feels. Instead of slogging through encounters, I now look forward to finding new weapons so I can test them out. Character customization is improved. There are many more perks you can choose, but you also get them every other level instead of every level as in Fallout 3. Having more options with greater restrictions mean your choices are more important. Thank you, Obsidian. For skills, they combined big guns and small guns into a single skill just called Guns. They also moved the missile launcher and Fat Man to explosives, giving more of a reason to choose it. For some reason, the Flamer is now in energy weapons. I guess they had to put it somewhere. They also added a survival skill, which both determines how beneficial food and water are, as well as what items you can craft. This leads us to crafting. The very crude crafting system in 3 has been greatly expanded. In addition to ammo, you can now craft medicine, drugs, explosives, food and water, and even skill books. Why craft food and water? Well, now there's a survival system with hardcore mode, which I highly recommend. In hardcore, you'll need to eat, drink, and sleep, you heal slower, etc. It's a lot like Fallout 4 survival mode, but you can still fast travel and save. The tutorial is infinitely more streamlined as well. Your introduction to the game is much more interactive and interesting than the hour-long exposition dump of Fallout 3, or whatever you'd call the awfulness of Fallout 2. This time, the tutorial can even be skipped if you have important business to be about. The Mojave features all your favorite enemies from the previous games, as well as new ones like Cazadores, Bighorners, Night Stalkers, Securitrons, and Lake Lurks. The companion system from Fallout 3 is back, but this time it has a huge improvement, the companion wheel, which is awesome. Having to talk to your companions to get them to do anything is tedious and stupid. The new system alleviates this headache. The downside is that they are still pretty bare bones.
Not my strong suit, but
They do
okay.
make comments occasionally, but only if you ask them. I'm busy murdering raiders, so I don't have time to chit-chat. They are very helpful in combat though, as long as Lily doesn't charge into your line of fire.
Jimmy! Little Jimmy! My, how you're grown up!
There's also no dog meat. What the actual Obsidian? There is Rex, who is a poor man's dog meat though. I guess he's still a good boy. One thing I really appreciate about the world is that there are many more statically placed enemies. For example, when you start, you could go straight to New Vegas, but there are giant rad scorpions and deathclaws in the way. You can try to sneak by, but that is a little difficult when you're disemboweled. This goes slightly against the Bethesda standard, which tries its best to hide more difficult enemies until you're appropriately leveled, which I kind of loathe with a burning hatred. The only time I ever saw a deathclaw in Fallout 3 was in the Enclave base, and it was silly. Using creatures as a means to encourage the path you take is brilliant, and I wish it was used more. The graphics are the same as Fallout 3, but better. This seems to be a pattern. Environments are much more varied and colorful. There's a mountain with trees, actual trees, and Worf lives there.
If you're NCR, keep it to yourself. They're not popular around here.
There's a lake you can actually swim in, and it has a cave. Though the cave doesn't really have much in it, it's still cool as hell. Then there's obviously New Vegas itself. At night, the city is lit up and you can see it from all over the Mojave. It is a spectacle to behold. Everywhere you turn, there's something cool. Right here, far off in the distance, you can see these statues. I wonder if you can go up to them. Yep. Boy, that looks uncomfortable. The story is awesome. You start the game in a small town called Good Springs after getting shot in the head by some douchebag. The main quest has you trying to find Benny, the douchebag, and it takes you all around the Mojave where you'll encounter the NCR, the Legion, Raiders, traveling merchants, and Worf.
I protest. I am not a merry man.
Everything is so interesting that you can't help but be drawn into quest after quest. There's one you can do for a guy sitting in a dinosaur mouth, where he asks you to find out who killed his wife and lure them to an area where he will execute them.
Bring him out in front of the nest here while I'm on duty.
You can go around interrogating the townsfolk, trying to find out who is responsible, or you can just convince anyone you don't like to get shot in the face. Manny, you gotta come see this.
What now? This better be good.
There is a buttload of quests like this, and they all feel weighty, and have you contemplating the best decision to make, and I love it.
You didn't have any proof?
Yes?
That's about all the proof I could hope for, I guess.
Ultimately, while adventuring, you discover power struggles between groups and political struggles within groups, and you can have an impact on both. Your presence in the game world means something. There's no clear good guys here, though. The NCR and the Legion are vastly different, and both have many issues preventing them from being the clear choice for who you help. They're not the only ones vying for power, though, but you'll need to figure that out on your own.
You aren't going to ramble on about the virtues of life out in the wastes, are you?
There are 4 overall endings, resulting in who gets control of New Vegas, and while you're not the chosen one, you're just a pawn in the game of life.
Mongo only pawn in game of life.
Your actions and decisions help shape everyone's future, and it feels like it.
Along with the projections that predict they'll be our biggest enemy. Forgotten!
I'll just go ahead and say it. New Vegas is a 9.5 out of 10. This is one of those games where once the credits roll, you immediately want to start a new game and experience it all over again. There are so many little decisions you can make that feel like they have an effect on the game, you can't help but want to see how things can play out differently. It's also one of the most modded Bethesda games on Nexus mods, so there are plenty of ways you can freshen up subsequent playthroughs, though I don't really think it's necessary. Viva New Vegas is a vanilla plus mod pack, and I can see myself playing it many times before getting bored. In all honesty, you should just go out and play this game if you haven't yet. Look at this trap. Who the heck is gonna fall for this? Disarm this, disarm that, and here we go. Uh-oh. If you like this video and you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have any interesting New Vegas stories or if you have any suggestions for games we should cover next. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
But I think I see a lot of lawbreakers up in this house tonight. and I don't see a cop in sight.